great and historic presidential election.
This year's US election might suggest that the US citizens have no shame in sharing their political opinions in the media. But how free are Americans in speaking truthfully about their political preferences in their very own homes? Morgan Baker is writing his PhD in American presidency and tells us why he believes a taboo on speaking freely about politics in the US exists.
They're more inclined to just simply stick a sign in their yard and not talk about the politics. I think it's because people know that there's a lot of polarization. And if they begin to talk about politics, then there's probably going to be an argument.
Indeed, the US has a two-party political system made up of the Republican and Democratic parties. These two very opposing parties dominating US politics have created a deeply divided nation. We went to speak to American students in London to see if they agree that this division has created a taboo of speaking politics in the US.
I think there's definitely a taboo about speaking, because you never know. You can't look at a person and tell oh, they're a Republican, oh, they're a Democrat. So you kind of have to be careful what you say so as not to start arguments with people who are your friends, really, because you're not friends based on your political ideals.
My parents didn't really talk about it because it would start an argument. So I think a lot of the reluctancy to talk freely about who you're voting for comes from not wanting to argue with other people.
The type of ideas and values that people associate with who you're voting for can take a conversation in a very different turn. It could go from being casual to being well, what's your life about?
But Morgan Baker has a different view on why Americans don't like sharing their political preferences.
There's sort of a tie between religion and politics. People don't like to talk about it. We're supposed to have a separation of religion, of the church and state formally. But it's very integrated. Even though people don't talk about it, it's ingratiated into our political system. But what happens is, especially with the Republican Party, I think with the evangelicals like Ted Cruz and all these people, sometimes it does filter its way into the political rhetoric. But as soon as they step into the Congress, they're supposed to separate all of that away. Unfortunately, I think it does. With policies like abortion, issues like that, religion does. It plays a large role.
So perhaps this taboo goes beyond avoiding conflict and lies in the religious values closely associated with politics. But only future elections will show us if this election has encouraged people to speak more freely about their political views. May Ponzo, reporting for City Global News.